Hello YouTubers and fans of the Superbus project. Recently I've been asked to do a sort of half questionnaire to help explain what the journey is and what the Superbus is all about and this and that sort of thing. So one of the questions was, what is your itinerary? And this has sort of forced us to make a basically a guide, a journey of where we're going. And I'm going to read it to you now. Let me know what you think. See if anything needs changing, swapping about. If there's anyone who's been to these places before, can let us know sort of places to stay and things like that. Just anything that can sort of help us. So the question is, what is your itinerary? And it sort of forced us into writing the route. Um, so I'll start. Our roughly planned journey so far begins in England, Essex, in the southeast. From here we will travel to Dover, on to Calais using a ferry. We plan to spend approximately a week in France, visiting important sites and detailing a little of the history between the UK and France. From here we will either travel south to Spain, or more likely northeast to Holland through Belgium. After a week of busking, earning and explaining some of the rich culture behind the cities of the Netherlands, we will continue onwards to Journey. Unlike the rest of our current destinations, we plan to spend over 2 weeks in Germany, giving us enough chance to flesh out some details of the immense and relatively recent history of the country. From here we can head in one of 4 directions: east to Poland, east to the Czech Republic, southeast to Austria, or south to Switzerland. If it's decided we're heading through Russia, then we will choose our route as Poland or the Czech Republic. More likely we'll be heading through Switzerland, onwards to Italy, using some of our time in the country to tour Vatican City and again attempt to communicate some facts. At this point in the tour we will need to have gathered a surplus of funding to allow us to continue southeasterly onto Greece, travelling through several countries including Croatia and Yugoslavia on the way. In Greece we plan to tour mostly Athens, taking a good look at the history surrounding the myths and ancient monuments constructed in times long past. We also plan to take a bit of a rest here, vehicle servicing and cleaning, sourcing spare parts and taking a general breather. After our break, we will either continue onwards to Turkey through Istanbul, or northernly through Bulgaria to Romania. All of these places are worth at least a week of stoppage time to explore and detail briefly. From here our choices become much more diverse. From Turkey we would travel through Georgia into Russia, and from Romania we would travel to Russia through the Ukraine. I've lost my space. Okay, from Russia our choices become even more immense, but the likelihood is we'll head to Kazakhstan. From here we may face some difficulties. If we are not granted visa for China, we will need to find another way to India. India is an important stop-off point as they are still manufacturing Renault Traffic parts brand new. Here we will take another break and completely service the vehicles as fully as we can. After spending several weeks in the relative safety of India's borders documenting the culture, we will continue onwards to Bangladesh. Here we will take the time to tour some of the architecture, building up a clearer picture of this little known country. It would probably be best to mention now that we plan to spend a lot of time exploring places. While it would be nice to have a clear roadmap of where we're going exactly, it would detract from the nature of the trip. If, for example, we're travelling through India and something grabs our attention, we will stray from the preset path to indulge our curiosity and to document something normal backpackers would usually miss. It would be interesting to record the musicians in varying and unusual locations as well. An important aspect of this trip... sorry, I've messed up again. Ignore it, it's okay. From Bangladesh, our tour continues towards Indonesia through Burma, Thailand and Malaysia. This will lead on to one of the most difficult parts of the entire journey. After transporting the vehicles over the waterways in the region, we plan to work for passage on a ferry or cargo container to Australia. Australia is a main part of the tour. The team have several contacts and mailing addresses in this part of the world to receive parts and hopefully gifts from home to boost morale. At this point the convoy will be completely drained, the well-needed rest will be welcomed, and for the first time since starting the trip we'll be staying in a house. We will also use this time to finalise the details for the last stretch of the trip. Australia will also be a good place to drop people off should they not wish to continue the trip making use of the airports. From Australia we will make use of cargo containers and ferries to get to New Zealand, another location that the team have numerous contacts in. We will treat this part of the tour as a holiday, however the agenda here is to give some support to the victims of the earthquake in Christchurch and nearby towns. The trip planner has many friends in the affected area and is keen to help. Once time comes to move on, our convoy will head back to Australia and earn passage to America. This is the hardest part of the entire tour. Usually cruisers and container ships would be found in Singapore, and if we begin our trip heading through Russia, closer to the start, then there is a good chance we'll be taking the ships from here to America. However, the Australian-New Zealand route means we will need to find transport across the Pacific. We would do anyway if we were going from Singapore, but again, ignore that. First draft. This is the first draft. Upon our entry into America, the final stage of our journey for a while, we will head northeast to Vermont, New York, to set up camp for a few months with a group of like-minded individuals on privately owned land. This will be the end of our road trip. Our film journey ends in Vermont at the geodesic biodome belonging to Jamie Mansell. Jamie was the inspiration behind the superbus and the road trip, living in a dome, totally off the grid in a self-sufficient ecosystem. Many various and eccentric ideas have spawned from his workshop, usually for free, usually of epic proportion. Vermont is the final goal. The journey is variable depending on visas and costs, although this is the most preferable route. Of course, we could just get a ship from England to America, but where's the fun in that? So, that is one of the questions. I bet you didn't get me for any of that. Yeah, but that was one of the questions. There are other ones like, what makes you so special, why, and other questions like, what are you hoping to learn on your trip, who is coming, what type of characters are they, and this is all something my sisters sent over to help us get production help. Like a TV station hopefully will help us follow us around and put this into production. If not, no big deal, we'll still do it. We'll just do it for the YouTube audience, but it would be nice if other people could see this and see what we're doing. People who haven't got a computer and that sort of thing. So, yeah. That is the basic journey. If anybody, anywhere, has got any idea what we can do to sort of make it not easier, but more interesting, or more exciting, less difficult, and if they know anywhere we can source vehicle parts on the way, like India is still building the Renault Traffic, which is handy, and I assume getting parts of the escort van in Europe aren't going to be too difficult. So that's the sort of thing we need to account for on the road trip. So yeah, that was my quick video update for the week. I've got my phone back, so superbus videos can happen again. But right now, I'm going to go chill out. I'm going to go look over the map again. My big Reader's Digest atlas. It's massive. And I'm going to try and work out other possible ways. And if anybody, anywhere, has ever had ever had a visa in China, please get in touch with us and let us know how difficult it is to acquire one. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good one.